Hey, as you can see, I am here with my friend Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday because we're together in the same country, same location. And while normally I may not have checked this one out, Ruben likes anime and likes animation. And so he decided to give it a watch. And it's called My Father's Dragon on Netflix. It's geared kind of towards kids and kind of maybe not. So how was it?
My Father's Dragon's animation is something that you've probably seen a number of times and you'll recognize the style. If you recognize it, like The Breadwinners, The Secret of Kells, and
Wolfwalkers.
Yeah. All are incredible or are probably Oscar-worthy films. The Breadwinners for me out of that lot is the one that hit me the most emotionally. So when I saw this come up on Netflix, I was like, yes, I am there 100%. Have you seen any of the?
I've only seen Wolfwalkers,
okay,
and the animation in that absolutely blew me away because of the mix of hand drawn and just you get some of that sketch still within there that I mean it's not something that we normally see nowadays. Everything is very perfected or digital, 3D, anything like that. And with My Father's Dragon, it has some of that painted aspect and very a hand drawn type of simplicity to it, which I thought was stunning.
I think they keep it back in the saturation of colors in this film as well until we need it, so that it's so much more vibrant and stands out. The thing that you're going to notice with this film is probably some of the voice work, and you have an incredible eclectic cast. Gaten Maserati plays the dragon. And I think the playfulness of his voice, the always hyper character that he is as a dragon, matched with the character of the dragon and how the dragon looks, is just something that I would like in my life, always.
Absolutely. Yeah, Gaten just captured this this joy and this, what was it? Just, I mean, there's a youthfulness and a playfulness to it and almost a naivete also. And he made him so endearing with the entire character that you just want to snuggle him up and you want to have him on your side. We've also got Jacob Tremblay, who plays Elmer, our main character, I guess, that we're following within the story. And then, there's Whoopi Goldberg. There's a bunch of other ones, but then there's an iconic voice.
Ian McShane. Man, anytime you hear this guy or watch him in anything, even if it's the darkest thing and what he's saying is the nastiest thing, I think we were talking about earlier, hearing his voice is just like butter. It's like Morgan Freeman's voice, right? There's a few iconic people that you just love to listen to. He is a gorilla in this, and it's just perfect. Presence, scariness, but also butter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could just listen to him.
A bit about the story?
Yeah. So we have this, it starts off with almost like a little montage at the very beginning. We have a family who kind of time, I'm not exactly sure what time it would be, but recession type hits. They own a store, a single mom and her young son, they own a store, tough times. They're forced to then sell the store or at least it forecloses, and they move into the big city. Now they're very poor at this point, just making barely any ends meet. And, as Ruben opens his tangerine there. And tangerines actually play a very big part within the story. And don't do that. Don't eat the shell. That's what? Oh, nasty. There's a falling out between Elmer and his mom. And that's when Elmer then goes on his journey and his adventure. And this is where we encounter Boris, the dragon, the ape, Soda, a giant round-looking whale.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what you're going to find as an adult, if you're watching this with your young ones, or if you're just an adult watching by yourself because you love animation like I do, because you know of the producers or the creators, it's also based on a book. Mm-hmm. The story within the story, I think, is the thing that's going to hit us hard. Because there are so many lessons to learn from it. And you're going to come away at the end of the film going, wow, that ended up being a kid's story, beautifully told, wonderfully edited. The pacing, I have a bit of an issue with. However, what's going on inside, you can totally reflect and you'll probably be able to relate to because we've all gone through a number of these things, particularly fear and how you deal with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that actually might be one of the biggest detractors from this as a children's movie. Because while the animation is beautiful and it will suck the kids in and it will be, there's enough cutesy and funny and maybe a little bit of slapstick humor also that the kids will enjoy, the themes, I think, are really deep and complex.
They are, actually.
And it's heavy. I mean, there's a burden to this story that is not bad by any means. I mean, it gut punch almost as an adult or as a parent.
Yeah.
But it's a deep and heavy story to get through.
I mean, on a personal level, when I was watching it, there's this thing of control that I related to a lot, like wanting to control the situation and fix the things, but you can't always fix everything. Some things are just out of your control. And it shows that, like, sometimes the issues that you have, a film like this will just shine a light and go, hey, look, you've got this issue you need to deal with. And I'm like, okay, then.
Well, or like a parent telling a child, it's going to be okay. I've got this. You need to trust me, even though we know that we have zero clue as what's going on or how we're going to fix it, or we're terrified, or we're those little white lies, almost like it's going to be okay.
Meantime, you don't know how you're going to pay rent.
Exactly. Yeah. But you're trying to save the child from that stress, from that, the reality of the world, so they can be a child for just a little bit longer.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of all the positives. There were a couple of negatives, and mostly for me, the biggest one would be the length of the film.
Yes.
I do think you could have shaved 15 minutes. Not 50, 15. Like, shave half the film off. My gosh.
That would have been a very short film.
Yeah. 15. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And 15, running it to the hour and a half, I think would have made it that much more snappier. There is a bit in the middle where our character is still learning, and we found the character, I think, somewhat frustrating. We just wish he would learn the things he needed to learn that much quicker. And maybe that was our just frustration in watching it, knowing that this character needs to go on that journey of growth, which there is. Yeah. But you're like, come on, dude. Everyone's suffering. Learn smarter. Learn faster.
Well, and I think there's also a false ending to this also, that it feels like it's wrapping up, and then we continue on again. And some of that is good for the drama. I mean, some of it re-engages you a little bit, but I think it also, at that point, that's where I began to feel like, oh, are we going to wrap up now? Yeah. And again, I totally agree. The learning faster, like we've got it. Yeah. We've been on this. And I don't think, like, going back to the kids watching this, I don't think the repeated or the extended time on Elmer trying to learn these things is actually going to help them solidify any of these ideas.
Certainly younger kids will lose interest and maybe peel away and start playing with the little toys. And then when there's the big action crescendo at the end, will be drawn back into it. And there is a big action crescendo at the end, and it's wonderful to watch. And by the time you get to the end, I was smiling and beaming again. But you have these waves that you go through in movies, and this is that typical moment. However, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I still think it's a solid film, but I can't give it the rating that I would like to, because it's not as good as Wolf Walkers or those other three. I just don't think it has that emotional punch as heavy as, say, The Breadwinners. If you've seen The Breadwinners, that no matter who you are, if you have a heart, you're going to cry. Right? That's just how it is. So I'm personally going to give it 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
I would give it 3 out of 5 couches.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. I don't know how many times I can say down.
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 Down. Down.
And until next time, live long and Tuesday.
I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.
That was weird, the outro.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Do you want a tangerine?
No, thank you.
You don't eat tangerine?
I don't do those kind of fruit, no.
Well, not.
And I don't even know why he was eating the shell on that. There's something not right about that.